Tonight with breaking news about another Navy training flight crash. This one happening around 11 this morning in Ricardo, and it involved two T-45 Goshawk jets out of Naval Air Station Kingsville. Now here's the good news. Both pilots ejected safely. Both were taken to Christus Spohn Kleberg to be treated for minor injuries and have now been released. It has been less than 2 months since another training jet out of NAS Kingsville crashed. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. But first, our team coverage of this crash begins with the story of a Ricardo man who just had an incredible encounter with one of the pilots involved in today's crash. The pilot actually landed on the man's roof. Our Andy Lascano joins us once again from that man's house. Andy, we were saying at 5 o'clock, I mean, here he is. He's just standing outside and boom, he sees a pilot landing on his roof.
Isn't that something? Can you imagine that? How would you and I react to, hey, there's a guy on my roof? Anyway, the Salinas family says they've lived here 25 years, just had a graduation party for their son on Saturday, and then this morning there's a guy in a parachute on their roof. Salinas remembers it happened about 10:30. He heard the jets flying overhead, and he agreed to tell us what happened when the guy landed on his roof as long as we didn't show his face on camera. So here's the rest of the story.
I heard the jets flying by.
Okay.
I heard a boom,
Okay.
and I was thinking maybe they broke the sound barrier.
Okay.
But apparently they ejected, is what the pilot says.
Okay.
And then I heard a thump, thump, thump. I was outside, I heard a thump, 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 and there's a parachute. I look up and there's a parachute on my roof.
So what did happen? Mr. Salinas says the pilot told him that he lost track of the other pilot while they were in the clouds. By the time they came out of the clouds, it was too late. He had been clipped. Both pilots had to eject. They landed safely. Mr. Salinas saying this pilot here that landed on his roof had some bumps and bruises and scrapes, as you can imagine, but nothing major. Both taken to the hospital, both okay. The Navy is going to continue investigating. Mr. Salinas says he's good to go. We're live in Ricardo. Andy Lascano, Chris 6 News. Katya.
I don't know that you and I might have been that calm as Mr. Salinas. Maybe you would have been, Andy, but thank goodness everybody was okay. Thanks, Andy. And listen, while we do know some of the facts about today's crash, there are also many unanswered questions. Our Seth Kovar continues our team coverage tonight. He is live at NAS Kingsville with more on what happened this morning. The best news, of course, Seth, is that everyone is walked away and is okay.
Yeah, that is the best news possible, Katya. A Navy leader tells me that both training jets that were involved in today's mid-air collision, well, they were doing some formation training when they bumped into each other. One of those planes, though, was actually able to make it here to Naval Air Station Kingsville safely and come in for a perfect landing. Here's what happened to the other crew and some exclusive video you'll see only on Chris 6 News. The student pilot and the instructor had to eject before their plane crashed. They both went to Christus Spohn Hospital Kleberg, but they've already been treated and released. Thankfully, they were not hurt badly. Here's a look at the scene near the crash sites. This is as close as we could get to where the training jet went down. A man who lives about 1.5 miles away is used to loud Navy training jets doing their training, but today was different. He heard an explosion, then he looked back and saw what he thought looked like a mushroom cloud. Now, you have heard that a lot of agencies are looking into this crash, no doubt. It's worth repeating, though, if you do happen to find yourself in this area, you find some debris from a plane crash, don't touch it. Instead, report it. We have the phone number you need to call on our website. That's christv.com. Reporting live in Kingsville, Seth Kovar, Chris 6 News.
All right, thank you for that, Seth. And as we mentioned earlier, this is the second Navy training flight crash in less than 2 months. That other crash happened on March 24th near Orange Grove. That crash involved a T-45 training jet that also flew out of NAS Kingsville. 2 pilots were on board that training jet when it crashed. Both were able to also eject safely. They were treated also for minor injuries. The cause of that Orange Grove crash is still under investigation. And as you just heard, today's crash and the one back in March both involved T-45 Goshawk jets. Here's some facts that you may not know about that trainer jet. It is considered the backbone of flight training at Naval Air Station Kingsville. The T-45 has been the primary trainer for Navy and Marine pilots since 1992. 50% of Navy and Marine Corps jet pilots come out of NAS Kingsville. Each year, 200 flight students report to NAS Kingsville for jet training. That training period runs from 11 to 12 months. And of course, we're going to continue to update this story all throughout the evening on our website at KRISTV.com. So make sure that you join us there, and also join us at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock for the very latest on today's Navy training flight crash. And of course, breaking news alerts. Make sure that you download our KRIS 6 News app, which is free, so that you can get those breaking news alerts.